Please give me a fucking awesome greeting for Nocturnal Culto!
Welcome back all you black metal enthusiasts. Here we are back again with the second part of the review of Darkthrone's Unholy Trinity. For those who are unaware, Darkthrone's Unholy Trinity includes 1992's A Blaze in the Northern Sky, which we reviewed in the last video, which I recommend you watch, 1993's Under a Funeral Moon, which we will be reviewing today, and 1994's Transylvanian Hunger, which I will be reviewing next. If you want to know the history of the band, I recommend you watch the first part, as I will not be going over it in this video. This album features the insanely talented Nocturnal Culto on bass and vocals, Fenris on drums, and Zephyrus on guitar. This will be the last album to feature Zephyrus on it due to him leaving the band after the album was released. Nocturnal Culto also features on the album cover. Under Funeral Moon was released on February 13th, 1993 under Peaceville Records, with only 1 year given to complete the record.
When we recorded the Blaze in the Northern Sky album, that was done, settled, going to be released on Peaceville, okay, we just moved straight on to Under Funeral Moon. And this time, we had all the time we needed. 1 fucking year to do only black metal.
Luckily, Fenris had said they were working on Under a Funeral Moon as early as late 1991.
We just worked and worked, end of 91, onwards throughout 92. We worked and worked on a fucking hostile album called Under a Funeral Moon, and we recorded that in the summer of 92. And that is 100% black metal.
It was recorded at Creative Studios in Norway of June 1992. Sadly, this album is highly overshadowed by both A Blaze in the Northern Sky and Transylvanian Hunger, which I don't really understand due to this being a really solid album. Fenris had stated that in this album he wanted to pay homage to bands like Bathory, Celtic Frost, and Hellhammer, which along with bands like Venom and Merciful Fate are some of the biggest first wave black metal bands. Something else I had noticed while listening to the album was the similarities between the song Crossing the Triangle of Flames and the Mayhem track Freezing Moon. As opposed to Darkthrone's previous album and debut into black metal, this album strays farther away from death metal. This album, in my personal opinion, is the most black metal album of the Unholy Trinity. The only similarity I could find toward their first album was from the title track, which I found to be slightly similar to A Blaze in the Northern Sky. But besides that, it really is built off of and a step up from the first album. The guitars are even colder, the vocals are harsher, and the drums hit harder. This album is straight, pure black tar metal. With this album, Darkthrone had practically perfected the black metal formula. This is extremely fitting due to the album being created in the midst of the Norwegian black metal mania. Mayhem had performed in Leipzig in 1990, just 1 year before the album started getting worked on. It was also being made just months after the suicide of Mayhem singer Dead, was right in the middle of the Norwegian church burnings, and was just months before the murder of Mayhem guitarist Euronymous. The guitar on this record is more minimalist than the previous record, with the exception of what almost sounds like a solo in the title track. The guitar is almost what I would describe as a black metal version of Black Sabbath. The riffs sound insanely evil, and unlike the previous album, the bass is actually audible in this record. Along with the more simplistic guitars, Fenris behind the kit coming with a more minimalist approach. Something worth mentioning that's very noticeable when listening to the record is the insanely hard-hitting drums that you find throughout the album, most notably on songs like Summer of the Diabolical Holocaust and Crossing the Triangle of Flames. The album also brings back the increasing and decreasing tempo on certain songs, which once again I really enjoy. But of course it wouldn't be a Darkthrone album without the legendary Nocturnal Culto. Culto had a slight difference in his voice in this record, fitting with the black metal turn of the album. His vocals are a lot harsher and colder, and basically sounds like hypothermia. His vocals are a lot more throaty and sound a whole lot more sinister. The lyrics and lyric topics on this record are a lot more evil, but poetic in the way that it is worded. Some of my favorite songs on this record include the title track Under a Funeral Moon, Unholy Black Metal, and Crossing the Triangle of Flames. My overall thoughts on this album is that it shouldn't be overshadowed by the rest of the Trinity. This album is a solid example of pure second wave black metal and should get a lot more recognition than it currently gets. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to look out for the third and final installment of my Darkthrone's Unholy Trinity review series. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.